Good morning. We are getting ready to start a new unit on geometry. And in geometry, the first thing we're going to look at are triangles. Triangles are something you're probably familiar with from previous grades and previous classes, but we are now going to move beyond just knowing the shape that has three sides and three angles, and we're going to actually identify our triangles with specific names based on the attributes of the triangle. So we can name our triangles in two ways. Triangles can have a first name and a last name, kind of like people. So we can call the triangle by just their first name or just their last name or both, because every triangle falls into a certain category. And we're going to look at the first way we can identify triangles, and that is by their sides. So we're going to look at the measurement of the different sides of a triangle and give them a name based on those measurements. Now, I want you to notice that there are those dashes that go through the sides of the triangle. And those dashes actually indicate to us that the measurement of the triangle sides are the same. So when a triangle has a dash through multiple sides, that means those measurements are equal. So our first triangle is the equilateral triangle, and you'll notice that there are marks through all three sides of the triangle. And that's because all three sides are equal, just like the name, equilateral. Equa, E-Q-U-I, means same, and lateral means side. So equilateral triangle is three equal sides. The next triangle is an isosceles triangle, and you'll notice it has the dash marks through two sides only. The bottom side, in this case it's the bottom, doesn't have a mark through it. So that indicates to me that two of the sides are the same. And when two of the sides are the same, we call that an isosceles triangle. So the way I like to tell students to remember isosceles has two equal sides is that if you look at it, it kind of looks like an ice cream cone. In this case, an upside down ice cream cone, but an isosceles triangle looks like an ice cream cone. Two sides are the same. So they both start with I, and that's a good way to remember isosceles triangle. The third triangle that we identify by sides is called a scalene triangle. And if you notice, a scalene triangle has no sides that are the same. So this triangle kind of leans to the side. So scalene, it kind of leans over. I tell my students to remember that if you built a house and every wall was a different size, the house would lean over. So a scalene triangle has no walls or no sides that are the same height. All right, so we can also name our triangles by their angles. So every triangle has three angles, and every triangle is going to have two of those angles as acute. Acute meaning less than 90 degrees. So all triangles have three angles, and two of those angles will always be acute. But we're going to worry about that third angle, the angle that is not part of those first original two. And it doesn't really matter what order we do those in. You just look at a triangle and you find the two acute angles, and then you look for that third angle to see what it is. So in an acute triangle, it's going to have the two acute angles, but then the third angle is also going to be acute or less than 90 degrees. So this triangle, if I look at this one and this one, those are both acute. So then I look at this top angle and I say, well, that's acute as well. So all three angles are less than 90 degrees. It is an acute triangle. Our next triangle is the right triangle. So when I look at this triangle, it has an acute angle here and an acute angle here. But one angle, the third angle down here, isn't acute. It is 90 degrees or a right angle. So a right triangle is going to have one right angle and two acute angles. The final triangle we're going to look at today is the obtuse triangle. And again, it has the two acute angles. And then the third angle is obtuse or greater than 90 degrees. So an obtuse triangle is going to have two acute angles and then one angle that is obtuse. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's an acute, a right, or an obtuse triangle. There is a rule that triangles follow, and that is that if you add up all the angles, the measurements of all the angles, it will always equal 180 degrees, no matter what kind of triangle it is. So if you have a triangle and you're measuring the angles and the sum is not 180, you don't actually have a triangle. It would not actually work. So this means that if you add the measures of all three angles of a triangle, it will make a straight angle. A straight angle is a triangle, is an angle that measures 180 degrees. Now you'll notice at the bottom of your page, you have something that's like, this says like, let's try it, or you try it. And it gives you some instructions for making a 180 degree angle or a straight angle with the angles of a triangle. We are going to do that together when we get back to class. So hold on to this paper and bring it to class with you as soon as we come back from these snow days, and we will do that activity together. All right, go ahead and look at the rest of your Canvas activities and see what you have to do to finish the day. Be sure to message your teacher with any questions.